with the gossip. I fucking hate the gossip. Oh, I always do this wrong. Okay.
I do. I always get it wrong. I always get this character wrong. Okay, my name's Glenn. Glenn one N. I'm going to do something slightly different this time. I'm going to try and keep this video to the minimum I possibly can, but we had just the other night a game of BMR, Bad Moon Rising, which is one of the standard scripts on the Blood on the Clock Tower. It was hosted by Trae, a veteran, quite an experienced, both in real life and online, storyteller. So he's always working very hard to balance the game as much as possible. It doesn't always work out for our storytellers, including Trae sometimes. However, in this instance, it was a good game. It's probably only about the third time I've ever played BMR, maybe. I'm not a fan of BMR, I have to say. There's way too much swing in this game. People holding onto their roles a little bit too long sometimes causes way too much damage to the townsfolk. But let's not go into that, my whole critique on BMR as a script, because BMR is a well-loved script by many people. My preferences elsewhere, though. Whatever. Okay, so this game turned out to be quite a short one, and it was an interesting one for me as a player just to watch back, because as what normally happens, or what happens often in these kind of games, you do tend to get maybe a small amount of sort of townsfolk injustice in these games of Blood on the Clock Tower, and normally that is aimed at the most suspicious looking people, and that's me included. I am very suspicious on here. I'm owning it. It's deliberate. It's just so that I can get maybe an edge when I'm the evil team, but meta has forced me to rethink my idea on how I can help the townsfolk when I'm good. So this brings me to this game, because the final day and nomination turned out to be the biggest mistake our townsfolk did make, and that includes everybody, and the evil team capitalised on it by knowing the roles of BMR incredibly well, so well done to them. Can't take the win away from them. So let us, without further ado, just crack on and see what we can find in the depths of this, probably about an hour to hour and a half long, about an hour and a half long game. And this is, for me, is very much a learning experience. I hope you can take a little bit from it. I will point out a few things, but I cannot zero in on every single clue which was given by every single player, even though looking back on it now I can kind of see the obvious signs that the evil team were playing this very hard. Very hard. But before we continue with the critique of what happened or what could have happened, let us show you what you really came here for. That is my first night predictions. Let me check it out.
That's what he's going to do. We have it. You heard it here first. Tonight, we are going to be up against the Shabloth, the Mastermind. Oh, and a Godfather.
Yeah, okay, so not a great prediction. We did get the Godfather in the end. Unfortunately, I didn't get the Mastermind or the Shabloth. However, I did get Ned. I think Ned turned out to be the Godfather. I can't remember now, actually. Yeah, Ned might have turned out to be the Godfather. Yeah, so that's not so bad. I mean, that's not a bad hit. Okay, well, after a particularly terrible night where a lot of our townsfolk died, as what normally happens in BMR, none of us had quite worked out that it was a Poe that was charging and killing lots of the townsfolk at night, but also something which I hadn't really got a handle of until I talked to one of the players. Was one of the kills was as a direct result of my gossip, so which actually turns out to be a very important clue as to what was going on towards the end of the game, which I did not jump on. But however, here's a conversation with Michael, who is one of my neighbours, which essentially is the reason why I didn't really think too much about it being a gossip kill.
We'll go to my room.
Okay, cool. Holy fuck. 3 kills.
Yeah, wow. That was unexpected.
What are we thinking?
I don't know at the moment. It's too early for that to be a poke kill, isn't it? So there must be a gambler or a gossip kill in there somewhere.
Alright, so we think it is a gambler or gossip kill. Yeah. Bottom 5, I think, with Jason. Something like that.
Bottom 5, right.
Yeah.
Jason told me T-Lady or gambler, so it could easily be an incorrect gamble on Jason.
Oh, shit. Well, I didn't hard claim to him, so he would never have gambled me, that's for sure.
No, he wouldn't have gambled me either. I gave him 2 for 2.
Right, okay.
Yeah, bearing in mind, Jason literally had told me in his conversation that he was an outsider, so I know he was either lying to me or lying to Mike. We'll find out why.
And Jeremy died, Lewis died. I mean, we still could have a Shabloff. We could have an assassin kill, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Alright, okay. What do you want to do? 3 for 3 on me, or what? What are you doing?
I'm happy to do 2 for 2 if you want.
2 for 2. I'm cool with a 2 for 2. Yeah,
Excellent. Yeah. Okay, I'm either the Innkeeper or the Exorcist.
The Innkeeper. Oh, please no. Or the Exorcist. Please tell me you haven't been messing with me.
Yeah, so that was at the point where I realised potentially if he was the Innkeeper, that he might have drunken me, even though he protected me, which is fine, meaning that potential gossip kill actually wasn't a gossip kill at all, and I was just drunk. So our plucky Innkeeper townsfolk, from at that point in time, it probably just ruined my information just for a single night. So hence why the very next night I went for something very, very, very similar.
I'd like to.
Okay, well...
Yeah, and there you are. So he was then essentially making me... He was really trying to tell me that, yeah, I'm the Innkeeper and I did protect you that night. So that really plays it. I mean, obviously, Michael... Well, it turns out Michael was a townsfolk. He was an outsider. But also, unfortunately for him, he was our very... was our lunatic... who was manipulated considerably well by the evil team, and in this particular game of BMR, it was brutal to the townsfolk that one of our own was working so diligently against us. So yeah, again, good play by the evil team. From what I hear during the game, it turned out that the information sort of dropped very neatly and very quickly into their laps, so they just pounced on it. So well done on them. Bad for us, good for you.
Went and did any whispering. So Steve A has been marked for a Moonchild claim. Thank you, Jason. All right, nominations are open.
I think then you should nominate yourself.
And yeah, and so this was another outstanding theme to this particular game of BMR, which was our townsfolk self-nominating and self-deleting themselves in execution, thus really removing pretty much the core of the good team. I'm not saying this is a bad move in particular. Sometimes it's a really good move. It's just so that we can draw a line under certain players for being good, thus reducing the amount of options we have available to us for who is bad. It's a good move, but in this instance, it didn't really quite work out for us because we had good guys really just diving on their swords, as you will see with this self-nomination and self-deletion.
I think that'll tell us a lot of info about what you did last night.
What, me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll nominate me.
Yeah, and it turns out that Steve gets nominated. I don't believe he dies on this. Actually, let me have a quick check through.
Steve nominates Steve. Wow.
It's a lot of self-nomination.
Second day and self-nomination again. All right, so Steve, your accusation and defense.
Well, this shouldn't kill me in theory. And then if I die in the night, we'll see. Well, we'll see if I die in the night after that as well. So,
interestingly, you'll see the lunatic Michael was very agitated by this whole decision-making process because of the thought of someone being confirmed is not much fun for the evil team. Michael obviously not part of the evil team, but still believed he was. So that was just a nice little tell just to watch out for.
I don't get information, but don't double get information.
Yeah, if it does kill you, there's a good chance that the person you picked last night is evil, right? Because the sailor often does not.
Well, there we go. I'm the sailor if you didn't know.
Yeah, and unfortunately our townsfolk out in each other. Yeah, we were getting kills out there.
Yeah, sorry.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Sorry.
And you even see the lunatic who thinks he's still the demon corroborating this as a very good move for the evil team, which was again just an amazing tell, which no one really picked up on. But this is the kind of banter that happens over the game, which just at the time you just don't see as has any meaning until you watch it back.
I mean, if Jason's telling the truth, you're going to die tonight anyway, right?
Well, no, because my ability is I can't die, so if I'm not made drunk in the night, I might survive, because it then makes you look evil.
So is no one worried about the mastermind, or is it just me?
Yeah, I'm still trying to push the idea that maybe my first choice is a mastermind. It turns out that nobody was really worried about it, and also just to skip ahead and give you an idea of what happened there was the whole town threw caution to the wind with regards to the mastermind. As it turns out, maybe I was being a bit overly paranoid, and it was pointed out that I was being paranoid, so fair play, I think it was, but still. Yeah. Once burned, as they say. Okay, let's move on to the next bit. Okay, let's get to the heart of the situation here so we don't let this video run over too long. I'm going to see if I can skip ahead to when I got nominated. So during the night, I'm just going to skip forwards. Steve A was... oh yeah, let's have this conversation with Lewis. This is a brilliant conversation. Okay.
Hi, buddy. How you feeling? Bit cold,
I'm fine.
bit dead, bit incorporeal.
Okay, so yeah, I think we're dealing with a one-kill demon that sacrificed their own minion because they knew that. Yeah.
Yeah. What, you mean a Poe?
Yeah. Like, I mean, there's no way it's a Pooker. They wouldn't poison their own minion in anticipation for something like that.
Good thinking.
So I think the first night was a Godfather, Gossip, and Poe combo.
Yeah, and Lewis, I think if I remember correctly from everything that happens, was absolutely right. However, in my mind, I was still thinking that I was drunk from the innkeeper. So even though I liked it, it wasn't quite washing with me yet. But I still believe Lewis is on the good side.
And the second night was just a Poe killing his own Godfather. That's what I think.
I think you said that the first night was a gossip kill. I'm 100% certain, well, not 100%, I'm fairly certain it wasn't.
Yeah, and that was my mistake. If I would have just listened to Lewis there, I think maybe I would have thought a little bit harder in a very different way as well. Because if I wasn't so certain, then I wouldn't be believing Michael. And I'm like, why wouldn't the storyteller Trae, if there was an innkeeper drunk the gossip, who would have got a kill, right? Because the idea is to help the good team, the evil team to begin with. So that's a little bit of metaing there. So it stood to reason that if the innkeeper was the innkeeper, then it wasn't a gossip kill. But if the innkeeper wasn't the innkeeper, then who the hell was he and why was he lying? And so that could have let me down a very... If I would have believed Lewis, well, I did kind of believe him, but I had evidence to the contrary which clouded my mind.
How come?
Because I'm the gossip. Yeah.
Okay.
And my chat said that gossip was there isn't a Shabaloth and mastermind
Yeah, and there wasn't.
in play.
There isn't a Jabaloth and there isn't a mastermind. Like, there isn't a... Are you talking like... If neither of them are in play, then the gossip kill happens?
Yes. No. Yeah, exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like we're dealing with a Godfather and Devil's Advocate.
Yeah, it feels like it. Yeah, it feels like
Yeah,
it.
so the Godfather kill from me as execution, the gossip kill from your correct gossip, and the Poe kill normally.
Well,
on the
I was
first night.
I was protected by the innkeeper that night.
I mean, like, doesn't mean that you're the one that was been drunk.
Yeah, okay, so fair play. Lewis literally solved it, so who's the Cassandra of the game? I wish, in the final day of executions where I got executed, as you'll find out, I really wish Lewis would have raised this at the time. I think that might have saved me, and it may have even saved the game. But to be honest with you, I think I'll skip ahead and show you. It would have been difficult for Lewis to say anything when the whole village was essentially against me. Oh, and here is a great conversation in the lead up to the absolute travesty of the final day that we had. I was speaking with the Godfather in this game, which was Ned, who was pretended to be the Tinker. Let's just play this one.
Maybe not.
Oh, okay, cool.
I say I'm a tinker, so I could die at any time, and being executed would be fine. We'd get rid of that as being one of the and also a questionable thing, like when it's going to happen. The thing was 4 people dying. I guess he didn't want to kill me yet because too many people were dying too quickly.
All right, okay. I'm slightly inclined to believe you because the Tinker, Moonchild, and Goon are the only outsiders potentially out there because we've not heard of a lunatic yet, have we? Well, not that we would have heard a lunatic, but I mean, still.
Not yet, anyway. In case.
Yeah, there you go. So I accidentally touched upon, again, another bit of information which would remove my world, which is that if Ned wasn't the Tinker, then there had to be a lunatic. So I had to kind of rely upon social cues. Ned did well, actually. I read Ned on a few games, I would say, and got him right. On this instance, he was way too comfortable to be telling a lie in my mind. Yes. That was a really important part with regards to kind of me formulating the world. I still had it in my mind that Michael was okay. I should never have gone down that route. Okay, cool. So let us advance to the point which I get nominated. This was if you don't mind me saying, a clusterfuck of a situation.
Otherwise, we go with the person the Exorcist picked, if there's an Exorcist in the game.
Yeah.
Is there an Exorcist?
Is there an Exorcist in this game?
I've only heard Exorcist in a soft claim. I've not heard hard claim.
Same.
I've heard a hard claim, but I'll let them decide if
Yeah, I've had that hard claim too just now.
Yeah, and what I didn't realise is I was in a whisper with Ned while the town were talking openly about the possibility of killing the Exorcist. So I wasn't a part of that conversation. If I was a part of the conversation, then I would have said exactly the same as what I'm now about to say. So check this out, which should have formed my defence in this instance to help save the townsfolk from making a fatal mistake. But I have to say that's the reason why I record these videos, is so I can watch this back and I can kind of learn a little bit more about kind of what I should and shouldn't do. Especially when I'm good, because you're treading a very fine line. You have to make sure when you're good that you're giving the townsfolk your best, but also taking responsibility for when you act a little bit suspicious or do some really, really crazy stuff like hard claim the wrong role or hard claim the goblin, which I've done in the past when I've been the monk. You have to learn to take responsibility. So I can't really blame anybody else apart from myself for being or acting quite suspicious. But this particular situation here, looking back on it, I think I pretty much gave about I could have done better. However, I think the town were lost in the long weeds and overgrowth over this issue on the Exorcist choosing the demon.
Okay. Yeah, in which case then, why not?
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know who the Exorcist chose. If I was a demon, though, I would know who the Exorcist chose, and also I would know who the Exorcist is. So from that point of view, my defense should have been, if anyone chose me, my defense should have been that. I just didn't use it.
I nominate Glenn.
Oh.
Alright, what was what? Who nominated Glenn?
Glenn nominates Glenn.
Planet Ken nominates Glenn. Ken, your accusation.
Well, I think I've just outed myself there as the exorcist.
Yeah, okay.
I think
Incorrect. You didn't just out yourself as the exorcist. This is what Trae says time and time again, and it's something which I still forget to do myself. So nothing on Ken on this one. But if you read the role, which the role Ken is claiming to be, it says that if you do get the demon, they know they've been exorcised and they know who exorcised them. So you're already outed, I'm afraid. So that should have, in a way, that is quite suspicious. So we'll carry on.
everyone, I think that's the agreed upon play here tonight. We're gonna believe Matthew's the tea lady. I picked Glenn last night. There was only one kill. That was Steve there was only one kill last night, and so I think we could be on to the right one with going with Glenn.
Okay, Glenn, your defense.
Yeah, as it turns out, that the Steve kill was a Moonchild kill. So that was a bit unfortunate for the town.
Yeah, I can kind of get on board with that, apart from the fact that 100% good townsfolk, so therefore the plan doesn't work for me. So therefore,
That's what an evil player would say.
so therefore, either you're lying, or we only have a 1-kill demon, and that's what we had. So I'm likely to fall on the side of that we have a 1-kill demon, and if there is a tea lady out there who has protected but not protected, then I suggest we put them on the block rather than me, because I'm good and I'd rather stick around and help the townsfolk out.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not being funny. I like not blowing smoke up my own ass. That was not a bad defense. I think I held it together. I wasn't really jittery. I'm pretty much focused on saying, look, please, this is a bad kill. I had all the information available to me to formulate the idea that it would have been a literally, Lewis gave it to us. Well, gave it to me anyway. It just never came out at the appropriate time. It was a bit of a fit-up, unfortunately. But still, it's just the way it goes sometimes. Turned out to be quite fatal. Let's have a look a bit more.
There you go.
Okay. Any pertinent information, folks?
Just a question to what he just said. Is there a possibility that we have a Puka who picked the tea lady and the tea lady was then poisoned and will die tomorrow? And that is why the ability did not work.
Maybe, yeah.
But that'll clear up a lot of worlds for us, so we're okay with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, just another. This is it, actually. Like, I think this is what why I felt a little bit, and I shouldn't do. I have to say this, a little bit upset during the night when I died on this, unknowing. I didn't know at the time that it was our final day. Was that it felt to me like the townsfolk had already decided upon a kill and were creating worlds, essentially, to kind of X out my role, essentially. They didn't know I was the gossip, obviously. I told them, but they would have to have believed me on that. Which I think is probably the wrong way of doing it. This is a social deduction game where social reads are massive. So yes, but looking back on the game, I really didn't give off any major signals that I could be evil. None of the people who tried putting in the final nails of the coffin for my execution talked to me. Not one of them. So they couldn't get a social read off of me. So it kind of felt like maybe it was just one person or maybe two people just come up with this idea and erected this fantasy world, which is essentially what you do in BMR, especially in but generally in Blood on the Clock Tower. So yeah, so I can't really complain about this. However, it's something which I think I need to, and maybe even everybody else would need to learn a little bit about, that we have to be careful of placing too much emphasis on maybe one or two people's viewpoints. not that every single world building exercise within Blood on the Clock Tower and especially BMR needs to be listened to or needs to be followed through on. We just need to, we need to correlate a little bit more evidence. Maybe instigate a little bit more chat. Maybe we'll make these kinds of mistakes. Again, this is basically what it's all about. It played into the hands of the evil, so well done to them. They capitalised on a shit show for the good team. Let's see some more.
Yeah. It was just a question.
Yeah, but still, that side, let's find a better kill than me.
Alright, I'm going to start the countdown on Glenn, and it will start with Jason. Here we go. You need 4 to put him on the chopping block.
I wouldn't get more than 4 on this.
I would not get more than 3 on this. I'm good town select, guys.
Oops.
Should get 4 only.
4 only, yeah.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, I'm getting
Alright, 4 is enough to put Glenn on the chopping block, and Jeremy has used his dead vote, so that makes Jeremy useless for the rest of the game.
Oh God, I didn't even realise that. I only just seen that. Jeremy does that quite a lot. Right, okay, me and him need to bloody talk in these games a little bit more, because I think this is probably the 2nd or 3rd time Jeremy's used his dead vote on me. But yeah, we'll see. We'll we'll resolve this in another game, no doubt.
I just had to put that up.
Yeah, I'm not happy.
Jeremy.
Very possible Jeremy can use for the entire game. We'll see.
Jeremy, you tell me when to vote, and I'll vote.
Alright, folks, so any other nominations?
Yeah, no, that was another little slip. I know it's all a bit tongue-in-cheek, but Jeremy's a really good player. He's very knowledgeable. His voice carries a lot of weight, especially if he's been executed earlier on in the game and he's proven to be good. He essentially, a bit like a few other players, no point in giving all the names out, but everybody knows who they are. You know who you are, who carry an awful lot of weight. It's a superpower within this game. However, it needs to be balanced with other players' points of view, probably a little bit more. Everyone does get the opportunity, so no one should really complain or get their knickers in a twist about situations like this. Least of all me, but I do anyway because I'm very passionate about this game. I do love it. Okay, let's see some more.
Go on, guys.
Just to throw another theory out there, is it possible that Mofi is the demon who knew he was protected by a devil's advocate?
That is possible, yeah.
To be honest with you, if Mofi is the fool, he has passed his usefulness. We should probably execute him and get rid of him anyway. Rather
Why
than
should we get rid of someone that is pretty much confirmed
No,
someone
they're not.
evil?
They're not Lomir, are they? They're not confirmed in any way, shape. Just because they came out as the fool, they could have been DA protected, right? And also, they're sitting on potentially the fringe of, I don't know where the Tea Lady's sitting at the moment, but if they're anywhere near the Tea Lady, they need to essentially, they need to take a fall.
Yeah, so I think actually that wasn't a bad argument put forward to me. Or what I was trying to say was I was just trying to hammer home the message that I'm good. I mean, of course, no one... It is Blood on the Clock Tower. Sorry, I have to keep on saying this, but lying and bluffing is part of the whole game. So I had to come across as townsfolky as I possibly could, but also erect a better kill opportunity somewhere else so that we don't make this this really stupid mistake. And my logic was, well, geez, if someone is the fool and they've already taken a hit for being the fool, then let's just get rid of them. Because ultimately, they'll still be good even if they're dead, but we need to kill them to prove that they're not pulling any shenanigans, right? Because if they were killed, or if they were attempted to be executed again and weren't executed, then that tells us an awful lot. It tells us that there's a DA, or it tells us that there's potentially a tea lady playing. But apparently during the chats that we did have, the tea lady wasn't able to protect both their neighbours. One of their neighbours had died. Okay, so that cast a tea lady in a slightly awkward light, potentially a devil's advocate light.
because otherwise we're just killing a good townsfolk for no goddamn reason.
Oops, sorry about that. I was
we'll be killing
annoyed.
good townsfolk if we go Mulphy as well. Who's also claiming use hard claims.
But if he's a fool, he has no ability, and I still do have an ability for the townsfolk.
I'm happy to die, but killing me today wouldn't tell you anything about Devil's Advocate, because if I was protected by Devil's Advocate yesterday, I can be protected anyway. Better to kill me tomorrow when you actually will know that I tried protecting twice or not.
Do we want to go ahead with Glenn today, and then Ken, you maybe
I'll nominate myself tomorrow. Yeah.
I will say that there's a lot of people I do trust in this town, and only three of them. There's only 3 people now I haven't marked for anything, and Glenn is one of them. So I think he's the good guy.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
I'm going to start my 10 count.
In which case, then, it doesn't really matter if you're going to get rid of me. I mean, I'm out to claim my role, right? Because nobody else has claimed it inside of the town, so I'm going to be pretty much cleared. I'm the gossip.
Yeah, and that was a very good point of view. I should have nominated and given us more time. Okay, my big mistake wasn't that I didn't bring that information to bear earlier. It was the fact that I did not nominate, which is basically what happens.
So you're now about to kill a gossip.
What were your gossips?
Read them in the chat, dude.
Okay, I didn't want to do it.
5 seconds.
Okay, I only got 5 seconds to bring them all out, mate. They're all in the chat. I'll just write them in there. I don't mind.
And yeah, okay, so I should have nominated just to keep it going. However, I couldn't look any more suspicious, really, even if I tried at the moment. I think everybody had decided that I needed to die. It didn't dawn on any of us that actually there was a Poe kill a Poe had charged, and what happens next is, well, let's find out, shall we?
All right, so I have an announcement. So we had another kind of bloody night, and I would just like to say to some of our new players, welcome to BMR, because in the night you learn that Ken has died, and Sophie has died, and I'm so sorry, Michael, but you have died as well. Oh. And I would like to congratulate the evil team for pulling off a splendid victory.
DA Matthew.
I knew you were lying. Oh my god.
Yeah, so that was the end. So the Poe charged and killed off all of the goods team remaining, including the lunatic Michael, who still right until the end believed that they were the demon. But then something really frustrating happens as a result of this. Even though I'm sitting there and I'm pretty bloody pissed, to be honest with you. Again, the game sort of brings out quite a lot of strong emotions, I would say. However, then we have a procession of people saying, yes, well, I thought that you were pretty evil, ... My evil team were X, Y, and Z, and none of them included me. None of them. So it was just a really bad world erected by the town. Imagination's gone wild, and even though I might be kicking myself a little bit for not protecting my seat, my position, and my role, I still feel like in this game you can only do so much before you just become super suspicious. And the most important thing in these games... Oh, actually, let me just play this last bit of all just to get
Steve, the No, I was actually saying the entire
game.
What?
So, let me go over the Grim. Yes, it was a Poe, and Michael was played like a fiddle. And
yeah, okay, right. I won't go through all of it. I'll just switch this big screen. Anyway, okay, cool. It was a fun game, and that's what's the most important thing about it. It really was. The evil team had a blast, and I think even Michael, as the lunatic, was so-called played like a fiddle. I think he really he enjoyed the time because, I mean, like, he probably thought he was winning for most of that game, so that's got to be a good feeling. To be ejected at the last moment it's not so bad. But yeah, just to conclude really on the game, for starters, it doesn't really matter it doesn't really matter if you are in this game killed during the night. If you have a powerful role, it doesn't really matter if the townsfolk accidentally gang up on you for no. Actually, I can't say for no good reason, because there's always reasons, and some of them are good. They just need to be smited and cut out of the way quick. And it takes a little bit of experience. It takes a little bit of effort from experienced players to be able to do that. It's nothing to do with any of that. It's just like how much fun was had. And believe it or not, even as a gossip, and I don't like gossip as a role. I don't know what it is about it. I think coming up with the logical gossips which help the team are always something which I find quite difficult. I definitely prefer a more singular dimension character. Someone that kills or protects or does, so that I can concentrate on the social aspect of the game more than the technical aspect. However, I have played a Flower Girl before and had an awful lot of fun doing that. But it did take, Flower Girl took so much concentration, it took me out of the game so much that I just concentrated logically on the puzzle. But in Gossip is something slightly different. I'm not enjoying it. So yeah, getting back to what I was saying, these games are amazing if you do get a chance to play. BMR, please do. Try not to be too disappointed if you're on the good or the evil team if you fail, because as you can see, especially from a game like this, which really only lasted, it probably only lasted about hour and 15 minutes, because there was a lot of preamble chat. It's good to see an emphatic victory, which was made up of an awful lot of really, really cool happenings, bad predictions, good predictions, and in my case, I feel I have an awful lot to learn, just as everybody does in this game. I'm pretty certain Michael's kicking himself. I'm pretty certain maybe to a certain extent Jeremy is, but whatever happens, Jeremy, please don't change. However, it turned out to be a great game, so you can't argue at that one. And the accusation, there is an accusation which is been made way too often, which has been taken seriously, which I would like to see not eradicated, but opposed and thrown out a little bit more, which is the accusation of I trust X, and X. Okay, X, Y, and Z, sorry. I trust X, Y, and Z for whatever reasons, which are never brought into the accusation. Nobody understands what those reasons are. Let's just say they're social. So that's fine. However, I haven't talked to A, B, or C. So therefore, this is a good kill. No, this is not a good kill because of that. This is only a very slim segment of what's going on in this game. That's what makes this game so goddamn beautiful. And I think we need a little bit more pushback against accusations like this. Not that they're not fun. I make this accusation, or have made this accusation a number of times, but I've normally made it in a tongue-in-cheek fashion. I've made sure that there is either a smile or a joke attached to it, just so everybody understands that I'm not making a serious accusation. However, as you get towards the end of the game, there is an argument to say, well, if I do trust X, Y, and Z, X player, Y player, and Z player, then and only A player, B player, and C player are ones that I haven't found any information about, then they are my targets. So there is a argument for it, but it needs to be pushed back against, because it could be used against us, and we don't want that. Okay, so I hope I have griped and bawled my eyes out enough for you this day looking at this game. It was a great game. Thank you very much to Trae for hosting. Thank you for everyone for playing their part. Great work for the evil team, jumping on some really, really golden opportunities handed to them on the platter, or handed us to them on the platter. And there is, I think the game is getting better and better as the meta is getting richer and richer. So long live the meta, and yeah, if I ever see you out there in a game, please don't think I'm always evil. sometimes I'm good.